Welcome to the Guy Pie Podcast, featuring Anthony, Chris, John, Sean, and Mark. This is a weekly podcast where five guys come together to make the ultimate conversational pie about the games they are currently playing.
All right, welcome to the Guy Pie Podcast. I'm Chris. Joining me is Anthony.
Hello.
And Mark.
Howdy.
And I think there was somebody else joining us. John.
I'm going to interrupt you there, Chris. I've got a little game for you guys. I was inspired by a video Sean and I did a long time ago. Sean inspired me to do this, and we're going to play a little game. It's called Who's That Pokemon? You guys may be familiar with this game. It is, I don't know, a kind of a popular thing, so... All right, no holdbacks. You guys can just shout the answers if you want. You can take your time. Doesn't matter to me. All right, Mark. Shh. Okay. First one. Who's that Pokemon?
Ecan.
It's gotta be Ditto, pretending to be Ekans.
You're all wrong. It's Chris. All right. Next question.
Chris.
Who's that Pokemon?
Me too.
Definitely Mark.
John.
You guys are wrong again. It's also Chris. All right, one more. I wanted to keep this brief, so.
Okay.
All right. Who's that Pokemon?
It's Chris.
Snorlax.
Like, the pattern makes me want to say me, but I feel like this is where the twist comes in, and then it's Sean, so I'm going to go say Sean.
You guys are all wrong. It's Pikachu! You guys did a great job, though. Thank you for coming out. Have a good night.
I mean, technically, if I'm an Ekans and a Mewtwo, I think that makes me a Ditto, so I think that makes me correct with the first answer. So.
Those are pretty cool fucking Pokemon that you were. Just saying.
I know. Hey, no complaints. All right. Speaking of no complaints, a game came out this week that is famous for making people complain and fight with each other. Super Mario Party Jamboree. John, you have been playing it. How's that going?
So I downloaded it on a whim. I was trying to find something to do with the fam. And yeah, I knew that game came out, and I was like, yeah, I'll download it. We'll play it. We'll have a good time. We'll all be family after. Boy, was I wrong. It's fun. It's so fun. They've added like a ton of mini games. It's crazy. You can unlock 2 characters like to start, but that's it. That's the only 2. That's probably my biggest complaint is like there's only 2 characters to unlock, and you can just pretty much get them like immediately. Yeah, it's great. It's always been known for like ruining friendships, but yesterday kind of ruined family. My younger daughter, she was planning on getting her siblings to team up on me. So how I work is I'm like, hell no, I'm not taking that. So I decided to just pick on her. I just like any kind of negative item that I got, I used on her and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden her siblings were like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's pick on Summer. Summer's my daughter. So we're all kind of doing that, and in my defense, she literally said out loud, "Let's team up on Dad." So I'm like, let's give it a go. So we did that, and she started crying. The poor girl, she started crying. She was like, "I don't want to do this anymore. Why are you guys picking on me?" I was like, "You guys tried to pick on me, so I just wanted to, get you back." Anyways, the mini games are fun. They also added kind of like a rhythm type game. They had it in the previous one too. This time they kind of like fully fleshed it out. It's actually like kind of like Rhythm Heaven for the DS. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but like kind of a mix between like WarioWare and Rhythm Heaven, where it'll be like just like a bunch of like different little games that you like do different movements with your arms, and it's pretty cool. I can't see it being like a regular game that I just play on my own. There is things to do on your own, but I mean, as a Mario Party game, it'll probably be like, oh, people are coming over, or oh, I need to figure out something to do with the fam. But yeah, it's a good game. It's great.
Nice. Anthony, do you think this is something you would pick up and maybe play with Katie and Link?
I've actually never liked Mario Party in my entire career or life, whatever. Like the only time I vibed with it was I think Mario Party 2 had like a game mode where it was just mini games. Or one of them did. That's the only part I enjoyed. I've never enjoyed it because not only is there so much chance involved, but then that bullshit at the end when you're like, man, I fucking played the shit out of this. You end the game like I got the most stars, and they're like, oh, here's a star to you and to you and to you, and then all of a sudden you lose, and you're like, bro, I fucking won that shit, and then you just took it away, you know. So that's, yeah, I've just never been a fan, and the name sounds stupid. I was gonna say stupid.
Good save. Good save.
Yeah, I don't know. I know there's a huge fan base. Obviously, it's Mario. It's all the lovable characters, and it's a party game, so it's not going anywhere. But it will never be for me. I played one of the N64 ones with my son on the emulator or the online Switch thing, where you can play all the old games. And I mean, I beat his ass, of course, but I don't know. It's just not fun to me. Like I was never. Maybe part of it is because I was never really a board game guy. Like back in the day, as a kid, like we'd play Life or Monopoly a bit, but I never really enjoyed them. So, and it's fairly like I do enjoy the mini games, like I said. So like that part is fun, but everything else, I just not for me. So, a hard pass on that one.
No, that's fair. I definitely have like big nostalgic ties to like the Mario Party games because me and two of my cousins growing up were like the same age, and I just remember fondly like we like if there was like say like a Christmas gathering or something when we were at somebody's house, we would just play like Mario Party. So I've always appreciated Mario Party. Like I know people praise like Smash Bros. Like, but that's a game series like never really could get into. Where like Mario Party has always been more of my jam. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna pick this up though. I think maybe if I do, like, I'll do what Nintendo does. You know that the voucher system where you can end up saving some money. But there's too much shit to play right now. But yeah, that being
Yeah.
said, this is something I would definitely enjoy for sure. Mark. Oh, go ahead, John.
Sorry, it's definitely not worth the full price game. just saying.
Yeah, that's why I think like vouchers probably like your best bet
Yeah.
with how Nintendo is with price drops, right? Like they're so finicky. Like that's probably your only way you're gonna save money on it, at least for like
And Nintendo never puts games on sale, so
yeah. You get the rare exceptions, but like it's when they're
Yeah,
like
like once a
super
year.
old. Yeah. Mark, what are your feelings on Mario Party?
And like I've always enjoyed the Mario Party games, but like it is definitely a game that is way more fun when you have like a group of people to play it, and like we don't sit around for Mario Party night. We go on to like Destiny or something like that. So like if it was like offered at a place I was at, like, oh, let's just fuck around on Mario Party, I'd probably play it, but for me, I don't think this is a game I would ever pick up just for myself because I live by myself, so there's not really any point to it. But like, yeah, they've always been fun. I do enjoy like kind of like that. Obviously, it's kind of what Anthony said. The mini games are always so much fun, and like just playing those can be tons fun. But I also do enjoy the board game aspect of it as well because sometimes you can get like just some crazy rolls in there, and then like it just pops off and it's a lot of fun, but I also feel the frustration with those bonus stars sometimes, where it's just like, this person sucked the whole game, and it's like, oh, you moved the least amount of squares. Here's a star for that. You won the least amount of mini games. Here's a star. It's like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Like, why did I work so hard?
I was listening to a podcast. I can't remember which one, but they were saying there's a version of like the board game mode where there's only one bonus star and it tells you like the requirements like to get the bonus star, so it adds like that bullshit out of the equation. I don't know if you've messed with that mode, John. But yeah, like I mean that's a smart
No.
move, I would say. Like 'cause that's always the big complaint with everybody is the bonus stars. Right.
Some horse shittery every once in a while with those things.
Any final thoughts on Super Mario Party Jamboree?
Don't get it.
That was a
Just
that was a glowing review.
just don't. Like you're gonna ruin your family. You're gonna ruin everything.
Oh, jeez.
Just don't get it.
What a glowing and raving review.
All right. Next up is Metaphor ReFantazio. I'll throw it to you, Mark, first. You've been endlessly grinding. How's it going?
So, this game is still amazing. So good. Yeah, I've been just going at it as hard as possible, trying to get through it. I am like pretty much at the end of the my first run through right now. Just working on pretty much. I don't know if I'm going to do it for all the characters, but I want to get at least one character maxed out with all the archetypes before I get into the end. But yeah, like the story itself had some very nice like twists and turns in it. I've been enjoying it very much. Obviously, I'm not going to give any spoilers. The end game, like extra bosses that like aren't necessary, but like you can do, and you get some like bonus gear, have been pretty challenging and stuff like that. One of them, like I started fighting them. They beat my ass, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go and just grind a ridiculous amount of levels before I come back here. But yeah, the game so far, I'm like, I think I'm like 60 something hours in. I can check real quick. But yeah, like I've been enjoying it every single second of it. Even the mindless grinding, it's been a lot of fun. I usually just throw on like a show or something like that, and like I get a nice tight loop somewhere and just get all that XP up. And yeah, like the game, the combat system's a lot of fun. The overworld stuff makes it very convenient. The story's been amazing. Even like the graphics to me aren't exactly that important, but I do really enjoy the graphics, and then I do also really appreciate for the cutscenes. They actually just made the cutscenes in an anime style. So like you have some like the in-game cutscenes where like it's just the character models and stuff like that, but then they'll go into like their major cutscenes will actually be like you're watching an anime, which I really appreciate. And yeah, I have 76 hours into it right now, so I got a couple.
Very nice. John. So you haven't sunk much time into it right now, right? What are your thoughts on it so far initially?
Definitely not 76 hours. I'm more like I'm more like including the demo because I keep saying like, oh, not including the demo, I'm this amount of hours in. I'm about, I'd say like 16 hours in. I love it. I think it's great. I was always a big fan of like well, not all, like I played a few Persona games. And this one kind of like it takes that formula and it adds another like it adds the fantasy element to it, which I'm a big fan of. I do like the cutscenes, the anime cutscenes, like Mark was saying. But what really like gets me is like the atmosphere of the entire game. Like it's weird. It's fucking weird, and I fucking love it. Like it's just like it's weird in an almost unsettling way, but it's like it's so good. Like I can't quite put my finger on like what's unsettling about it, but I don't know. And the characters, I've been loving the characters. There's one specific character, I can't really say who it is, but I was on a quest to like do something to this character, and I was like, God, I hope this is a party member. Oh my God, I hope this is a party member. And then all of a sudden it was like, he's a party member. And I got so fucking excited. And Mark, you probably know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He is now he is now officially my favorite like party member in any RPG game ever. Like he is now probably my favorite RPG character ever. And the problem is I can't say it because it is a pretty big spoiler. Not like I'm sure there's bigger shit that happens in the game eventually, but like this character is a pretty big spoiler, and man, he's so cool. He's so I was like, I can't even like say how I was feeling because it'll ruin it. So I'm not gonna. I can't. But yeah, 10 out of 10. This game is fucking amazing. Get it. Get it. Everybody get it.
So Anthony, the next 2 weeks you're going on to afternoon, so like this is your ideal time period to be playing single player games. Do you think you're gonna give like that 6-hour demo a shot during that time?
Yeah, I might. I am kind of like just in the conversations I've had with you guys and seeing the conversations you've had in the group chat and when talking to Mark, I think last week, I am pretty hard on the fence right now just because, and I get this is a me problem, but I don't like the idea of like you have a limited time before you're forced to progress. And I know there's lots of things like I know Mark was saying. There's things you can view like what other people did. Like if you're not sure what to do and you're given the time that you're given, you can see what other people did on those days. And Mark mentioned your strategy of um, regenning mana with the mage and farming a dungeon level wise, so you know you're good on that. And I get that, and that makes sense. But I don't like being limited on time to figure out what I want to do. Like it almost makes me feel like, and again, I know you don't have to do this, but it's just the way I work, where I almost feel like I have to look up a way to optimize my time because I'm limited, you know. So that part of it is kind of what makes me on the fence and not willing to dump full price into it at the risk that I spend the first 12 hours, 10 hours of the game and then drop it. So at the very least, like you said, Chris, this game does have a pretty sizable demo. So I'll give that a go, see how I feel. Because everything else about the game, aside from that small detail I just mentioned, everything else sounds great. It looks great. So I'll just have to see if I can get over that little detail, because that's a big detail that can completely take it out the wind out of my sails for a game like this. So I have to see if I can get past that before.
To add on to that is I don't know if this will help sell you more on it. So like basically like there's a few different activities you can do that like don't really contribute to any skills or anything like that, or just kind of like a little bit like time wasters. But if you just ignore all those, you just focus on the level things. Like I've looked at no guides for there almost isn't any guide out for it yet. I'm done every single side quest. I have everybody maxed like on the relationship trees, all that stuff, and I still have 12 days left before I absolutely have to do the last mission.
I was gonna say,
So like, it gives you a lot of time to do shit.
unlike most of the Persona games, like this one actually does a really good job of giving you enough like wiggle room before you have to progress to actually do all of that stuff. Like Persona games, it's kind of like a you have to use your time wisely. This game kind of like strays away from that a little bit and kind of gives you like your own thing. You know what I mean? It's a lot less like rushy than a Persona game. So
Okay. Well, that's definitely a positive, I would say. Because yeah, that feeling of like having to move forward without finishing things I wanted to do. Like it sounds like what you're saying is there's probably the scenario I would more likely run into is that in the time period I would have, I would do all the things I want to do, and then potentially still have time left over.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable. I mean, I'm not still not going to commit, but I'm going to give the demo a go at least probably this week. See what I think.
Yeah, to their credit,
Hell yeah, man.
that demo was a really brilliant idea on their part. As somebody who currently doesn't have that drive or interest to play it right now, I will give them credit. It's just a smart thing to do. Have a chunky demo that size that where people who are kind of like in your like perfect example in your position, Anthony, where you're like unsure, but like there's aspects that you do like that you don't like, that you can commit like a good 6 to 8 hours, see how it is, and not have to pay a dime for those hours. So it's good on their
Yeah.
part for sure. Yeah, like my thoughts are still the same as like last week. I had the demo downloaded. I went to like load it up. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I've got way too much shit to play right now. I just spent money on all this other stuff. Like I'm like I don't really want to play this right now. So eventually I think I will give it a go. Maybe like November when things slow down a bit. But as of right now, yeah, I'm definitely out on the game. Any final thoughts on Metaphor before we move on?
Stick it in your mouth.
There it is.
For a second, it sounded like you like
it
cut out a
definitely
bit.
sounded like
Yeah.
dick it in your mouth.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it wasn't just me.
Whatever you have to do,
dick it for sure in your
Just
mouth.
sit in there.
Just stick it in your mouth, you know.
Like fish dick.
The official Guy Pie catchphrase now is "dick it in your mouth."
I'm very glad it wasn't just me who that sounded. I was just like, all right.
So you already established my microphone is dying. I need to get a new one.
Your microphone's trying to frame you. All right. Next up, we got Destiny. Anthony, how's it been going this week for you?
It's going pretty good. Just picking away at the pinnacle grind that they re-added, unfortunately, for this season or episode, whatever. It's going to be a consistent, but it's going to be a light consistent, I think, because the new activity is like a variant of Onslaught, which has been fun. But the loot pool that we're chasing is severely limited in comparison to the previous Onslaught because we only have access to 4 of the new seasonal weapons. We have to wait till the next act. So I'm still enjoying my sessions with it, but I fear I'm going to reach a point where like I'm not going to see any drive to really sink big time into this until we get to act 3 of this episode because of them like locking things behind the acts just to artificially create longevity of the episode. Like I miss the seasonal format at this point because at the very least, like it was a couple weeks of story. You know, at worst, like maybe a month. You know, month and a half, like before we've had full access to like all the weapons in a season, and probably sooner than that, really. But the point is that Act 3 weapons for this episode, like that's what is it, 4 months an episode? So like we're looking at several months before we get a. And one of them this season, this episode. Oh my god, I'm just gonna call them seasons, okay? This season is based around stasis, and scout rifle is relevant with champion mods. And there's a stasis scout rifle as one of the seasonal weapons, and from what I've read, people are saying it's probably one of the Act 3 weapons, which means we're going to have a third of the whole season to actually use this weapon, which that kind of irks me a little bit. So I am looking forward to the next year of Destiny because I'm slowly not becoming a fan of the episode format. As we saw last episode where I stopped early on Act 2 and then I didn't even come back until the new episode started. And now I'm kind of being reminded why that happened a little bit. How However, the stuff with this episode, like the potion system and it's not perfect, but I do really like it. Haven't done the new dungeon yet, but we'll talk about that once we get to it. I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with Destiny right now. There's always pros and cons with Destiny these days, right? So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, they kind of like echo what you said. I wasn't too big on them bringing back that pinnacle system, and as we've been discovering them bringing back the pinnacle grind, but like there not being that many pinnacles tied to something you could do as say like a solo or duo fire team member, even like to an extent like a 3-person team, like a lot of this stuff is tied to like the more high-end content, which like high-end content I get having pinnacles tied behind them, but like when you don't have like a full squad, like that pinnacle grind is just atrocious. Like
On that note, Chris, remember how we were talking about how there's now multiple dungeons and raids that are in pinnacle rotation each week?
mhm.
So Warlord's Ruin apparently was a visual bug. It has the icon for it saying it's pinnacle, but it is not.
Oh.
So it's like, what are you doing, man? They're like artificially making it seem like there's more than there is, and we already think there's less than there should be. So
Lying to our face.
yeah.
But yeah, like I like a lot of their choices for like the artifact this season. I've been enjoying grenade launchers, like enjoying pulse rifles again for the first time in a long time. Like I like the meta, but to what Anthony said, it just that whole format of having things locked between the acts of the episode just he said it perfectly. It incentivizes playing at the end and not playing through like the whole experience, right? So I'm okay though. Like me and Anthony powered through like the story content last week really quick. There is like the pinnacle grind, but I'm not too worried about it. So like it is nice in the sense that I can freely play like the games I'm playing right now. And like Call of Duty's coming, I can play that and not be like, oh, I have to log in each week for Destiny, you know, like I could be like, hey, if I want to hop in this day, I'll hop in that day kind of thing. So like I don't know. I'm torn with how I'm feeling for Destiny right now. Like I will say every time I'm in it playing it, I always remember how much I love that gameplay and being in that world. So there is that to it. But I think uh again, yeah, what Anthony said, like I at this point I'm just waiting for Frontiers, the new system that they're gonna have in place where it's like 2 paid content updates, one at like the start of the year, and then like 3 months in, like a free update, then 3 months later, paid update, and then 3 months later, like another free update. So like splitting it up into 4 updates, but like the 4 updates separated by two, where it's like a paid and a free update that are tied together. I think that'll be a much more enjoyable format than the episodes. I'm glad like very quickly into the episodes we got the reveal of Frontiers and we were like, okay, they're not sticking with the system. Like they didn't even get through the first episode before they were like, all right, we're moving to
Yeah.
something different. But yeah, Mark, you've been in the metaphor grind, but just what are your thoughts on
Yeah.
Destiny right now?
I am curious to try out the new stuff for this season. I've been like kind of going off of what you guys said. Like I did end up getting to 200 Guardian, well, seasonal rank for the end of the last one, but that was basically 4 weeks before I started at rank 54 or like 56, and then I just killed everything that I had not done. So pretty much I saved all my like triple experience things and just pretty much grinded pound just slaughtered the things. But yeah, as like as you're saying, like you're almost rewarded more for playing at the end of the season versus playing weekly. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the new like I literally haven't even loaded Destiny up since the new stuff dropped, so I don't know any of the new cosmetics or any of the stuff in the season pass that I might be interested in. I'll figure it out eventually. 'Cause I'm gonna hop on to try and rock that dungeon with you guys. Uh, but yeah. Well, speaking of that, do I have to like? Am I going to be like a bunch of light levels below, or is it just like going from where I'm at is going into the pinnacle grind?
I'm
Were you at 2000? Like, was your gear 2000? I don't think it matters regardless because I believe it'll have the scaling system
yeah.
where it'll put you 5 levels below whoever's highest. So me or Chris, whoever's the highest.
Okay, so never mind that. Yeah, we'll be good for the
Yeah,
dungeon.
that
Just
at
wanna run it.
least was a great addition to the game. The fire team
Yeah, oh
scaling.
for sure.
All right, John. Yeah, what are your thoughts on what you've been hearing?
I zoned out. Uh, still no plans on getting back into Destiny 2. Unless they do something like fucking crazy that just changes the game quite a bit. I think maybe I'm over the Destiny grind. I did enjoy my time with it, and if you guys ever needed another like person for like a raid or something, like I'd be in, but yeah, as of right now, like too much stuff, no time. So,
No, that's fair.
you know, yeah.
You always do Destiny Rising while you're at work.
That I'm interested in. So, we'll see how that goes.
Hopefully it's not pay to win, but
It probably will be.
hopefully the free to play, even though it probably is pay to win, that it'll be an enjoyable free to play experience. At least
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
on a casual level.
At least that. Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts on Destiny before I move on?
No.
No, I will
All
say, me and Anthony got our surfboards.
Oh
weekend.
yeah. And it takes shaders like real nice.
Ooh.
97 strange coins was the cost of that
I
sucker.
believe so. 95 or 97.
Yeah.
97 sounds right.
All right, moving on. We got Silent Hill 2. All right, so I played a lot more than where I was last week. I think right now it lists me at about 15 hours game time for it. Obviously, you factor in times where like I left the game paused and walked away for a second. Yeah, so I was telling these guys, John, last week about the approach you were telling me about and like splitting it up into episodes, which that first week was the approach I did, and I think it really helped the story kind of like settle. But the past week, every day after work, with the exceptions of the days I played Destiny with Anthony, I was like too tired to play. So this weekend, I kind of just went like today, all day today. I'm like, all right, I'm just fucking playing Silent Hill 2 today. So like I made a good chunk of progress today to the point where I'm definitely close to the end. I'd probably say maybe like an hour or two left in the game and I'm done. Um but yeah, as I was like alluding to earlier, this game can get very mentally exhausting. Just in terms of like the themes and obviously without going into spoilers of things, when you play like a game like Resident Evil, you're just like fighting monsters that are kind of like monsters, right? Like these are like these monsters have like significant meanings to them and like are like it's like it's really hard.
Just say
Yeah.
your inner demons.
Yeah,
They're your
yeah,
inner demons.
yeah. It's like your inner demons and like trauma, like brought up. Like it's just like, and some of them are just like when you realize what they represent, it's like it's really fucked up themes of like yeah, John, you were 100% right. Like this story has been just fucking. It's a riot. It's like,
It's
like
fucking crazy.
it's
Yeah.
fucking it's so much to take in, but at the same time, it's just like I've never played anything like this. I've only played like one Silent Hill game in the past, but it was like Homecoming on 360, so it's not a great example of it. But yeah, dude, John, when you do get around to playing this, like it's fucking gorgeous. Like there was like a moment earlier today that was just like so cinematically well done, where like my jaw was dropped. I was like, this game looks fucking incredible. Like they nailed it. It's an incredible experience. One of the things I really appreciate is the whole aspect of breaking glass. So when you're going throughout the world, there'll be like cabinets, there'll be like windows, and you can use your melee weapon to break the glass. And like you'll find more ammunition, or like you'll find areas you could actually, apparently, like areas you can go in that you couldn't go in the original game. So like they've added more to like fill out the world a little bit. But it's cool because I think it adds more to the survival horror element, because where a game like Resident Evil tends to kind of like throw ammunition at you, you have to be very mindful in this game of your entire environment around you. Because like I think for the first couple hours, I was totally walking by like cars that I could have broken into to get ammunition and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been a crazy experience. It's definitely a one playthrough and I'm done. Like the discouragement of like the 6 ending trophies things for the platinum, I'm kind of like, I'm good with just like experiencing the story, taking it in and walking away from it. But yeah, like props to Bloober team, man, they crushed this. Like I'm excited for John when you eventually get around to it, because like since like your love for like the original game, I'm curious to see where you how you walk away from this remake with it and all that. So that being said, I'm gonna throw it to you, John. Like, what are your thoughts on the remake and like what you've heard so far?
So I've seen a lot of like gameplay from it. I've seen a lot of clips and stuff, and yeah, you're right about it being gorgeous. I did tell you, it's more like a psychological horror more than anything. It is like it knows how to fuck with you. Not a spoiler because like the game's like a million years old. You know what? I won't say exactly what it, but there is a secret ending too that you might want to look into. I don't know if it's in the remake, but it is fucking stupid and ridiculous and funny as shit. So like once you finish the game, try and find like a save like just before the ending that you can, because I'm pretty sure it's not like super elaborate to get this.
Okay.
Try look into it, try and find just like secret ending and try and get it, because oh my god, just the dark tones and stuff of the game, seeing this secret ending, you're gonna be like, why would they add this? Why would they do any of this? It's good, man. Yeah, I can't wait to get the game. It's gonna be a bit before I do, but like I can't wait to get it and experience it and all the additions that they put into it. And man, I just yeah, it's a good game. It's more like it kind of follows like a Japanese horror movie where it just goes so much deeper than the jump scares and the horror and stuff. It just like it just finds other ways to disturb you, and boy does it fucking ever. As you were saying. So yeah, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it though. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's like it's a weird kind of enjoyment because, like I said, like it's an incredible experience, but like after sessions, I'll just be like exhausted. I'll just be like, Jesus fucking Christ,
Mentally drained.
yeah. Like, oh my god. Mark, what are your thoughts on what you've heard of Silent Hill 2?
Well, like the game does sound interesting, and I am like I would be interested to experience it, but like as I said before, it's not really a title that draws me in like an excessive amount. And also, I don't know why TikTok decided to target me with these things, but I've had so many things spoiled, and like it's not like the video loaded up and it's like, warning, spoiler, the video loads up, drops a massive bomb on the game within the first 1 second of it. And then she's like, oh, that's cool, I guess. So I've already had a lot of things spoiled for me for it like that. But as I was saying, like it is a really old game. So, you know, that's whatever, but like it does sound like an interesting game to experience firsthand. So if I ever see it on like a nice sale and I don't have anything else to play, or if it comes definitely if it comes on like one of the monthly games, I'll definitely pick it up. But yeah,
Nice. Yeah, thankfully I haven't come across any spoilers, oddly enough. Like I would have assumed I have, considering I'm playing it and I talk about it. Like with how like the social media apps are, they seem to like target
Yeah.
farm whatever you fucking talk about.
Yeah.
Anthony, again, like this is definitely not up your alley, but like further discussion on the game, just like what are your kind of thoughts on it?
Well, so yesterday, Katie and I watched Deadpool and Wolverine. It was really fucking good, dude. It was a really good movie. Color me impressed.
All right.
jeez.
Actually, no, that kind of excited me a little bit because now we don't have to beat around the bush and worry about spoiling it.
True. All right.
Now we can quote it.
And any final thoughts on Silent Hill before we move on?
Deadpool and Wolverine was a really good movie.
Honestly, so
best.
good.
We literally have a
So
shoot
good.
the shit section
Exactly.
where
We're
we just
full-
talk about whatever,
Ripping it,
which is
looping
literally what's
the,
next.
talking points.
Oh my
I've been
god.
waiting my whole life for this.
Well, so
I'm about
going
to
into
make
the
a name
next
for myself.
section, shoot the shit, where we talk about whatever we've been thinking about this week. You know, like movies we watched the other day or something like that. All right. Mark, what's been on your mind this week?
Just trying to get through metaphor. Just how tired I am, how stupid work has been, and how great this game is, but I need to finish it so I can get some sleep. But Deadpool and Wolverine is an amazing movie, though. Start to finish, what a great ride. Anyone who hasn't seen it should immediately pause this, go watch the full thing, start this from scratch, get us more views, and then once you get back to here, you can finish the rest of the pod.
Like, watch the beginning of the podcast like 6 times before you go watch Deadpool and Wolverine, and then like come back and. But yeah, no, it is a good movie.
Great movie.
Like, how worried should we be about like spoiling it on here?
Well, I mean, like the movie, like originally hit theaters in May, right? Was it May or June?
Yeah,
Like,
so if you haven't seen it by now, like,
yeah,
fuck off.
we're going on like half a year since it OG came out.
Also, all the everything of that movie has been put into memes on TikTok and all social media since it's been made. So I mean, like, people have probably watched almost the whole movie just from the memes that have been created from the movie.
All right, Anthony. Favorite cameo in the movie?
Favorite cameo?
Yes.
Blade. Why is that technically a cameo? Because they were in it.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a good
No,
bit.
I mean they're all cameos, man. They're all
Yeah.
like
Well, like to be fair, like I get what Anthony's saying because like cameo usually feels just like it just like some like more like Human Torch, like Johnny Storm in the movie,
Yeah.
where like these
Yeah,
are
yeah.
significant roles, like they actually play a big part in the story, right? So like they are more like
True,
side
true.
characters, but yeah.
okay. I mean, it's more of like a throwback
Oh,
like
yeah.
character. So
Well, because
yeah.
there's only ever going to be one Blade. You
There's-
know, there's never.
It's
gonna
actually
be
cool
another.
too. After the end credits, the just like random back behind the scenes clips from like all the different movies and shit. Like not even like there's some Electra clips in there, and I think what was it? Yeah, the other clips. I thought so. Um, I knew Jeff was playing Gambit, but the memes I saw, I thought were making fun of him as Gambit.
I just got that.
And I thought he did pretty good. I mean, there was a few lines with the accent, but I thought it was pretty good.
Like to go off what you said, like I think a lot of people don't realize is like he was purposely playing up the accent for the comedic purposes, like because it is like a comedy action movie, and like to be fair, Gambit has that thick like Cajun accent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was kind of like, I'm not too familiar with the character, but in the cartoons, isn't he kind of like that kind of personality too, in a way? Like,
Oh
Jeff?
Yeah.
And the combat scenes with him I thought were pretty cool.
Oh,
on
no,
that
like,
on that note, there is a guy on TikTok, and he's just like he's a legit like Cajun dude. And in his comment, I'm gonna try and like find him. You guys keep talking, and then then come back to me, and I'll add to this.
all right.
But yeah, he's on TikToks. All of his comments are like, like you should have played Gambit. So like, just come back to me. I'm gonna shout him out and everything. So
There was a few fourth wall jokes that I had to explain to Katie, like who Foggy was, and there was one more. I can't remember. I don't think she knew who Electra was, or like that it was not just
Oh,
Electra, but it was the actress from it, like a movie, you know?
Ed
Yeah, really, the
should
original
probably.
Daredevil.
Yeah, I was gonna say she probably didn't get the joke about, or he's just like, or when found out Daredevil was dead, and he's like, "I'm so sorry," and she's like, "Don't be," and it's like she's literally talking about her ex-husband Ben Affleck because he played the Daredevil in their movie. The green screen I think is fucking with it. Yeah.
Always thought it was a circular.
so his name is Cajun Dan at DRZ 400 Dan 2. And man, like just listen to this guy. Hold on. Like
And I always like extra rice in my gumbo, all right? Put that bitch in there, right there. Then we'll put another one right up on in there too. Because I want extra rice up in my gumbo. A little bit too much juice. Let me drink some of that juice.
so you can see where I'm getting at. Like this guy, like legit his comments. I'll read one right now. Channing's Gambit accent not so unrealistic now, is it? I realized what I almost just said.
Yeah. that was a dangerous misread right there.
Can you say, "Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself, please"? Like this guy is Gambit. Like he's real life Gambit. Check him out. It's pretty cool.
All right, theories. Why was Thor crying? That's
He definitely
I
wasn't
did
crying
hear-
because Deadpool was dying. There's no way.
he
I did
probably
hear an explanation for it, but I cannot remember for the life of me what it was.
he probably found out that Deadpool wasn't dying, and that's why he was crying. He's like, "What do you mean
Oh
you're coming
my
back
God,
to life?"
yes,
To do
actually,
with you more.
that makes sense.
Dude, I love when I knew. So when he first meets, what do they call him? Nice Pool, and he sees his like gold-plated guns. I'm like, oh, he's gonna kill him and take the guns, and then he doesn't. I'm like, oh, okay. And then later on, when he shows up again, he's like, you're gonna live. He's just holding him, getting lit up.
Using as a human shield.
Yeah.
How long does
He
it
wanted
take
the
for you to
guns and the dog.
regenerate?
Regenerate?
Fucking-
Great.
yeah, no, that was a
good
good
movie.
Did you watch the
What a-
end credit
yeah.
scene, Anthony?
No, I didn't. I didn't know there was one.
Oh.
I'll have to,
It's
Come
like,
on, man.
yeah.
It's a Marvel movie.
but I just assumed like it was like, don't they usually use them when they have like another one coming or something? Like Logan
So there's
literally in the
always an
movie was
end
like,
credit
"I'll
scene.
see you around," and he's like, "I don't think so." That was in the movie, so I was like, okay, Logan's obviously gone.
Didn't you hear the line in the movie several times that he's going to be doing it till they're 90?
Yeah.
Till you're 90.
Yeah, but that was Ryan saying that. Then Logan it literally is like, "I don't think so." Like I'll take his word over Deadpool's.
I don't know how true this is, but I have already heard buzzings of a second one being talked about.
What they should do with
he
with the
may be doing it till 90.
with the reintroduction of the girl that played X-23 in this movie, they should run with that. And like, if they do another movie with him, use him to like pass it on, so then she can be the next Wolverine, and then do that. You know, I don't know.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I mean, theoretically, that was Logan.
Hmm?
That kind of was Logan, of him kind of making a future for her. That was pretty much like the ending of that movie.
well, yeah, I know, but I mean, I don't know. No, we haven't really heard anything about them making a Wolverine movie with her, right? So like,
That's
I
fair.
feel
That's
like this
fair.
would be a good opportunity to, like, with her being older now. I don't know. Maybe that's what they were waiting for her to kind of grow up a bit, so they can, keep it R-rated like they did Logan. Because I guess it would be kind of weird just having this like kid Wolverine just fucking slaughtering people. I don't know, but yeah, definitely enjoyed that movie.
What did you think of the Cavalrine?
The what?
The Cavalrine.
Best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm blanking.
Henry Cavill
Henry
as a
Cavill,
Wolverine
Wolverine.
variant.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, dude, that was so good. Oh my god,
We're gonna treat you
it's
so
funny.
much better than those fuck faces down the street.
Yeah,
It should have been. It should have happened.
I couldn't believe like what are the odds that he showed. Oh, in the fucking. He shows up in the bar and he's like, there he is. Then he turns around and jumps off the stool and he's like 4 feet tall.
It's comically accurate though. Like
That's
Wolverine
what's
is
funny
supposed to
about
be that
yeah.
tiny.
Oh man.
All right, next up, John. What's been on your mind this week? And before you do answer, there's one thing I wanted to bring up. I wanted to get your opinion on. Do you hear about like I think it was like that Xbox exec who, when was asked about Banjo Kazooie, a new game, he was just like, nobody cares about Banjo Kazooie.
I say he can go fuck himself because I care a lot about Banjo Kazooie. Man, like I grew up with that shit. If they came out with a new Banjo Kazooie game, I'd be hyped. As long as it's not like nuts and bolts. You know what? Fuck what I think this week. Let's talk about this. Nuts and bolts was terrible. Like fucking that was the end of Banjo Kazooie, and then they came out with that fucking ukulele game, like the old devs of Rare, like, and that was fucking hot garbage. They need to come out with like either like a full fucking remake or remaster of like the original game, and like I'll play the fuck out of it. I'll buy it. I'm sure a lot of people will buy it. Like that, it needs to happen. Another Banjo Kazooie needs to happen. That guy can shut up.
Well, it's funny the timing of it because I think they just finally added Banjo Tooie to the Switch Online through the.
Did they?
Yeah, this week I'm pretty sure they added that.
Oh
I was
fuck!
seeing it
Well,
on some gaming podcasts talking about it.
that's
Yeah.
cool, man. Because I never finished Banjo Tooie because as like a kid, it was too hard. Banjo Kazooie was like a cakewalk compared to it. Like I 100%ed Banjo Kazooie twice, and like Banjo Tooie, I made it to the end, and like I finished the final boss and stuff, but I never like did the like all of the jiggies, like getting all of the collectibles and stuff like I did in Banjo Kazooie because there was just some like ridiculous hard shit in it. Like there's like this character called Canary Mary. You'd have to race by like mashing A as hard as you like as fast as you could. And the first one, like there's like 3 of them, I think. The first one wasn't too bad. The second one was like a little bit difficult, but the third one, man, was fucking impossible. You needed to get like a what's it called? That personal massager that you use on your back. Definitely your back, not anything else. And put it on the A button and like have it mash it. Like I didn't know how to beat it. And I think that was the only thing that stopped me from actually like getting 100% on that game. And I would like to play it again. So I think maybe I will boot up the Switch after this and play it. And maybe I'll finish it. And you know what? I can't get distracted from metaphors, so maybe maybe I won't. But yeah, that guy can
consumes all.
that guy can shut up.
All right, Anthony, outside of Deadpool and Wolverine, what's been on your mind this week?
What on my mind? Oh, I watched Dan to Dan episode 3. We got introduction to Sexy Granny, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
I
She's
know you
awesome.
want a reference for that, Chris, but we can
Oh
show
no,
you a
I've
picture.
seen her on TikTok. Now it's
Actually,
good to know where she's from now. I'm like, why is everyone simping over this grandma?
Oh man.
that's definitely probably one of my favorites this season. Outside, I know Bleach is airing this season, which has been great. Of course, I really it that it kind of like obviously I would not have an expectation of any of this because it's a lot and there's lots of filler, but it does kind of suck sometimes that like I have this huge like love for Bleach, but the only person I've ever met that not only has watched it but is a big fan of it is my nephew. So like I can't really talk to him. Like we talk about Dan to Dan or Jujutsu Kaisen with Sean and like we talk the big anime we all watch. We talk about it. I can't really talk to anyone about Bleach because you guys would just be like, "Oh, that sounds pretty cool," but it's like for you to really enjoy it, you can't. You could be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go in and watch Thousand Year Blood War." That's like the newest stuff that's started in 2022. It's like sure, but you can't appreciate what you're watching unless you've seen the original run of like 300 episodes. But again, I can't expect someone to watch that because it's like there is quite a bit of filler, and even minus the filler, it's probably still at least 200 episodes, 240 episodes.
That
Yeah,
sounds like a cakewalk compared to One Piece, though.
that is true.
I did
That is
start watching
true.
Bleach. I like a while ago, and I enjoyed the first few episodes, so I might actually watch it, Anthony. So
Well, if you get around to it, that would definitely be cool. It's in one of those weird places, similar with One Piece. Like I feel like it's hard to never have watched One Piece or Bleach in this case, and be like, and you're like, say you're an anime fan as of like 2017, right? Like, say you're like 23 years old or something. I don't know. And you're like, I'm gonna watch One Piece. Like, the animation is so dated that like, I almost think like I left off on One Piece like years and years ago, around 300. I recently started to jump back in. I think I'm about 350 right now. But the thing is, if I hadn't watched any and I went to go watch it from the beginning, I think I would just be like, I'm not a One Piece fan. I can't do it. I'll wait for this reimagining plan that they have where they're going to retell it with new animation, probably cut out a bunch of stuff. But anyways, I'm getting away from myself here. Yeah, Bleach is probably one of my favorite anime of all time, and I'll just think about it to myself.
but I have been looking for something to watch in between episodes of Dan to Dan. So I will, you know what? I will make it Bleach. I'll do Bleach just for
There
you.
we go. Even to help your suffering, to get through like those older animation and stuff like that. If you're vibing with the story, obviously, is just use a filler guide. I know certain people will be like, the filler, blah blah blah. It's like I'm not one of those purists. I don't expect. I know I've seen it all, but I don't expect other people to. So
I'll happily skip filler. Like
yeah,
I can't fucking stand it. That's what stopped me from watching all
Filler
of
is
Naruto. So
so bad.
it is. It is.
Ugh.
There's a bunch of it in Fairy Tale as well, which
And
I kind of like.
all Shonen Jump animes have filler because there's just such long run times to them.
yeah. But let's be honest.
Anytime.
If Fairy Tale's fillers has Urza or Lucy in it, like it's worth watching.
Well, I mean, there is a lot of like fan service in Fairy Tale, right? So like,
Yeah.
there.
Well, fan service. There's no fan service, especially in the Jigglebutt
Oh,
Gang
I'm
episodes.
thinking of. I'm thinking of the Space Fairy Tale. What the fuck is it called again?
No. They both have massive amounts of fan
I was
service.
gonna
But
say
even zero.
They're making a
Even
game of
Zero.
that, I think.
That's a good show
There is
too.
literally a point where Urza pulls Happy out of her boobs.
Did they come out
There's
with
no reason
more?
for it.
Did they come out with more Eden Zero or
I think
I
it's
don't
season.
since?
think so. They have been releasing more Fairy Tale though.
Okay, because Eden Zero I was really vibing with. So
That's just Space Fairy Tale.
yeah, I know.
Like, isn't
It's great.
Happy in it? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Happy belongs to this version of Lucy, and Happy is a set of guns that
It's
turns into
awesome.
a cat.
It's so
Well, it's
good.
a cat that turns into guns.
Yeah,
I mean, you could just watch Cat Planet Cuties too. It's a great show.
maybe
Never heard of that.
the name of it kind of makes me not want to, but. for any of the audio listeners, there was eyebrows going up and down pretty rapidly.
But yeah, so yeah, anime is great. This season's kind of few bangers, not as many as before, but
Yeah.
Also,
I
that
just started
Xbox,
rewatching Overlord as well. Fuck, that anime is so good.
that
I
It's one of
Xbox
my
exec
top
needs to
favorites.
fuck off and fucking just people care about Banjo Kazooie, motherfucker.
it's called game.
Yeah, so for me, John, so that's how it feels like when we talk about Destiny. Now I get it.
Yeah!
Now I get it. Yeah, so for me, this may surprise all of you, but what's been on my mind is Venom. Because next week we got the showing for The Last Dance, which I'm excited for, and then there was also the announcement for Spider-Man 2 is going to be going to PC, and like with that announcement, they confirmed there's going to be no DLC for the game itself. Me and Mark were talking about this yesterday, and which I'm okay with because with Miles Morales, they started this thing of instead of doing like a DLC, do like a shorter like little expansion like story that you can kind of just like spend like maybe like 15 to 20 hours in and kind of just enjoy it, which is supposed to be the next game that they're working on that got leaked was Venom. They're doing like a little thing for that. But what was driving me crazy was a lot of people were upset with I can understand being upset with like the DLC being canceled, but the thing that I found the most surprising were people were mad that because they were expecting Carnage to be one of the DLCs. But and we were talking about me and Mark were talking about this. It's just like you don't waste Carnage on a like 4 to 5 hour DLC. He's
It's not
too
a
big of a
small
villain.
villain.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not a small guy.
he's too big. Like that makes zero sense to me. So that's what's been on my mind. Like Venom the movie, which is wild to me that this is a trilogy. Like it spent forever fucking in development hell just to get the first film, and now like we have a third one coming out, which is insane. But yeah, no, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for whenever the Venom game comes out. So that's been on my mind. I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. I unfortunately won't be there because I'll be out of afternoons. Fucking blows, dude.
Just blow the place up, then you won't have to go in.
Just calling a bomb threat.
Or
I
you could
like
do a
my
bomb threat.
afternoons.
You could skip like the blowing it up, but I don't know. Feel like blowing it up is more effective.
Yeah.
All right. Final topic. Going back to anime, what is your favorite game that was based on an anime TV series? I'll go first because I have a much more limited options. I feel like you guys have. Well, I know Mark's already got his set in stone, and I know John was thinking of his. I think I'm gonna go with Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse, just because I did like getting that platinum. I did spend an ungodly amount of hours into it, and while I liked Xenoverse 2, I didn't like it enough to go what I went through with the first one. So I think Xenoverse 1's gonna be my pick. Mark, what is your pick?
I already talked about the anime. It would be the Fairy Tale game that came out a while ago. Tons of fun playing through the game as playing through a game as those characters. You got to build your own sort of teams, and each like everybody had their own synergy effects, and it's just a lot of fun. It was a very, very easy game to platinum for me. I don't remember if it was necessarily a hard platinum, but I enjoyed it so much that it was not any trouble getting through to the platinum for that. And then now we have the second Fairy Tale game coming out, I think next year. It's coming out sometime, but I'm really, really excited for that one. And hopefully they keep some of the elements from the first one, or maybe they'll turn it into a completely different thing and it'll be just as awesome. This Fairy Tale is amazing.
All right, John, what are you picking?
So I was gonna say Kakarot, but saying Kakarot like in my brain unlocked a core memory of a little game on the Game Boy Advance called Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku. Fucking good game. And I don't know why like I didn't think of it until now, but such a good game. Like it's just like a top-down action RPG. set in the Dragon Ball Z universe, and it is fun. And I played the shit out of it. And you guys, if you haven't, I think you know what, it definitely doesn't hold up today. I watched gameplay recently, but at the time it was like mind blowing. And at least watch a video of the gameplay because it was cool back then. But yeah, it's not anymore.
Yeah, I played the crap out of that game growing up.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, Anthony. I know you had like 4 you were torn between. Have you decided?
I think so.
You got this.
I think so. Do you mind if I just give like a quick shout out to the runner ups?
Oh,
You
take
might
your
as
time.
well.
Do your
Because I am
thing.
kind of
Yeah.
curious what the other 3 were.
Okay, so I'll just list the series because I didn't pick them. I didn't put enough thought into pick between. So, the Digimon Cyber Sleuth series, like the one, there's 2 of them.
Oh, those are good.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse, loved them both. Probably would lean towards first one like you, Chris, but I don't know for sure. And then Metabots on the Game Boy. They did like a Pokemon thing.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Roshu or Rakusho. Those were so awesome. They were kind of hard, but it was really good. Now the one I went with, John, I think you'll like this, was the 3rd installment in the series of Legacy of Goku 2 called Boo's Fury. And I played that so goddamn much, dude. Like I maxed every character. I unlocked. I wish Chris and I were just talking about this series like last
Were
week.
you? That's
Yeah.
awesome. I didn't even know. I didn't even know about Boo's Fury. To be honest
Yeah, it
with
was. They did 1 and 2, and then Boo's Fury. It's part of the series, but it's of a different name. So like, unless you knew it was, because Dragon Ball Z does like so much stuff with their different sagas. So like, I don't blame you for not knowing that because it's not under the same pretext, right? So, but it plays the exact same way. I think the first Legacy Goku they might only go to level 50 or something,
you.
whereas
Yeah,
in this,
it wasn't like crazy in depth or anything.
yeah, whereas this they go to 100 and you unlock the abilities. You can go Super Saiyan 3, um, and stuff. I think so. Yeah, and you can unlock the different characters and yeah, I like 100% of that game, dude. And the menu music for that game, like you should look it up. Boo's Fury main menu music, like it's such a banger. It's like just this simple little audio file, but it's like there was that one point where I'd be walking around with my Game Boy Advance SP with my headphones in and just have the game on the main menu, just listening to it.
I'm not just gonna look
Nice.
it up, Anthony. I'm gonna find a way to fucking play it.
It's great,
gonna
dude.
be
I like you
And
said. I know you're saying you know it doesn't hold up. I don't know if it holds up, but I think it might. I think it might.
the thing about the Game Boy Advance and especially its catalog, like when you look back at a lot of those games, I kind of go like, how the fuck did they make these work? Like they looked fantastic at the time, and I still say they look fantastic now. But like they just got really creative with how those games, especially the Legacy Goku games, they got creative with how they play, and like they just took it to a whole new approach that I never would have expected for Dragon Ball. I think that's the thing that caught me off guard the most when I played the first one was like, who the fuck thought of this? Like who was just like,
You
let's
think
just
about it. You think about it too. Like you're watching Dragon Ball Z, and it's a different experience altogether than actually playing Legacy of Goku because they're like flying at each other at like super fast speeds, like throwing punches and shit. When you're just like little Goku on the screen, like boop, like shooting
Yeah.
shooting stuff at people, like. But it
It's
still
basically
works, yeah.
an action RPG, like in a way. Like I don't know how in depth the first Legacy Goku one, I don't remember. But this one, the Boost Fury, like you had gear with stats and stuff, and you could get like weighted gear that would give you plus XP. So like if you had to grind, you just throw on all your weighted armor, and then I think it lowered your stats a bit. But then you just go grind and get like boosted XP and stuff. And like there were certain characters that were like secret characters to unlock. Can't remember who they were, but my assumption would probably be like Vegito or Gotenk, stuff like that. Um, yeah. Oh man, I might actually try and play that. That was so,
I think I played the second one. I think it's the one that went through the Cell Saga.
That was probably because I don't remember the order of the sagas. Not gonna lie, dude.
I think one
still-
was strictly the Saiyan Saga, right?
Like
Okay.
Saiyan Saga first, then Cell Saga, then Boo Saga, I believe.
Yeah,
Okay.
that ends up. Yeah.
But no,
Well,
no,
yeah.
no. There was no, Frieza was part of the Saiyan Saga.
Oh yeah, they
Wasn't
did
he?
have. Oh, they did have the Frieza Saga. I think.
So I think it was Saiyan Saga,
Saiyan and
Frieza
Frieza.
Saga,
Yeah.
then Cell, then Boo.
Okay.
Because I think
Just block
Legacy of
them.
Goku was Frieza Saga, I do believe.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you're right. Now that you mention it, yeah, you are right.
Then you're probably right, Mark. It was probably Cell that you.
Well, that would make
I know for
sense,
a
right?
fact it was because Hercule was one of the characters that you could play as.
But it definitely lines up because, like, if Boo's Fury is like the Boo Saga, right, and then you got Saiyan and Frieza in the first one, Cell would definitely be the second one. But yeah, one of the things we were talking about the other night actually was because, like, you know how on PlayStation they've released like the Castlevania Game Boy Advance collections and like the Mega Man Battle Network collections. Like, just do that, release a collection for the Legacy of Goku collections, and just like let us play it on like PlayStation and shit like that. That'd
Yeah.
be dope.
They owe it to us, you know.
Are they
Yeah.
on the Nintendo Game Boy stuff?
No.
Do you know?
The Legacy of Goku games?
Yeah.
I don't think so. No.
All right. That has been another successful episode of the Guy Pie Podcast. I'm Chris. That's Mark.
Bye.
Anthony.
So you.
And John.
Cancel that Xbox executive. Banjo Kazooie for life. Fuck you, man.
Cancel.
Oh, jeez.
That's a way.